Welcome back to Aviation This Week. Today's edition is brought to you by Lavero Aviation, your aviation solutions provider. Your top story: Mars helicopter completes flight tests for 2020 launch. Then Bombardier's Global 7500 sets 2 key records. And Canada Post issues 5 stamps to celebrate Canadian aviation history. We'll have all your aviation news right after this quick message from our sponsor. NASA has completed test flights on the final model of its Mars helicopter, an autonomous demonstrator rotorcraft scheduled to launch toward the Red Planet in July 2020 as part of the Mars 2020 rover mission. The Mars helicopter will be stowed in the belly pan of the Mars rover, which is expected to reach Mars in February 2021. To prepare for the mission's arrival, NASA in February started aerobraking its MAVEN spacecraft to increase its orbit frequency and serve as a data relay satellite for Mars 2020. The Mars helicopter weighs approximately 1.8 kilograms. It will be deployed a few months after landing on Mars when the rover finds a suitable location to place it on the ground. The rover will then be driven away from the helicopter and begin to relay commands. On its first flight, NASA explains the helicopter will make a vertical climb to 3 meters, where it will hover for about 30 seconds. NASA is planning for a 30-day flight campaign with up to 5 flights as far as a few hundred meters, lasting as long as 90 seconds. The Mars helicopter employs twin counter-rotating blades, rotating at almost 3,000 RPM, described by NASA as a rate that is about 10 times faster than a helicopter on Earth, in order to bite into the thin Martian atmosphere, holding about 1% of Earth's atmospheric volume. Over 4 days in late March, Bombardier set 2 significant records during the introductory tour of its Global 7500 aircraft. First, the 7500 reached and sustained its rated top speed of Mach 0.925 for more than 2 hours. And then the aircraft set a transatlantic city pair time record between New York and London. Earlier in March, the Global 7500 completed the longest range business jet flight in history, with a non-stop 8,152 nautical mile flight between Singapore and Tucson, landing with 4,300 pounds of fuel reserves, representing nearly 1.5 hours of additional flight, and holding Mach 0.925 for more than 2 hours on March 24th. The Global 7500's coast-to-coast flight from Los Angeles to New Jersey took 3 hours and 54 minutes, making it the fastest business jet ever to complete the route. On March 27th, the Global 7500 then set a city pair speed record during the flight from New York to London. The flight took 5 hours and 26 minutes, with the aircraft again reaching a top speed of Mach 0.925 and holding an average speed of Mach 0.92. In partnership with the Canada Aviation and Space Museum, Canada Post in April issued 5 stamps to honor Canadian pilots, designers, and aircraft that made civilian and military aviation history. One stamp commemorates First World War pilot William George Barker, who remains the most decorated member of the military in the history of Canada and the British Empire. Barker flew more than 900 combat hours between 1916 and 1918 and is credited with 50 victories. Another stamp celebrates aviation pioneer and bush pilot Punch Dickens, another First World War flying ace who also logged more than 1.6 million kilometers flying over northern Canada. This included the first reconnaissance flight across the unmapped barren lands of the Northwest Territories. Elsie McGill is also celebrated as the first woman in Canada to receive a degree in electrical engineering, and first in the world to hold a master's degree in aeronautical engineering, and to work as a professional aircraft designer. The Laser, a family of twin-engine, high-wing, ultralight monoplanes designed by Dale Kramer of Port Colborne, Ontario, is also highlighted. The 5th stamp features the twin-engine supersonic Avro CF-105 Aero Interceptor, which could fly at more than twice the speed of sound. This is Annex Business Media's Niche TV. Registration is open for the 2019 Careers in Aviation Expo, presented in partnership with Wings, Helicopters, and premier sponsor WestJet. where both the Calgary and Toronto events will take place. The program begins on May 25th at the Calgary International Airport in WestJet's new hangar built to hold its 787 Dreamliner aircraft. Join us for a tour of the facility and a day of sessions by industry leaders and exhibitors who will share insight into the many career possibilities in Canadian aviation. Thanks again to our sponsor, Livero Aviation, your aviation solutions provider.